Welcome to the first episode of Nonsensical Knowledge. My name is Edwin Hathaway. I am here with my boy and my brother, my heterosexual life mate, Ray Sauce. Welcome to This is Nonsensical Knowledge. We will basically be talking about anything we really would like to, anything that piques our interest. And we'll try to support with facts and, with what we can. There'll also be a lot of alternate information that might not be supported.
Well, just stuff to get the mind flowing.
Right. We always try to think outside the box, and we will always try to be hilarious and awesome. Shout out to everybody that helped us make this happen. Joy, Raphael, Joe Kelly, thank you for the logo. Everybody else that put time into the logo.
And everybody sharing on the book. And
everybody that's liked the page. We superly appreciate it. We hope to have a lot of fun doing this stuff. So obviously, our first episode is probably going to be the big elephant in the room with the COVID-19. Sauce, what are your thoughts?
As I had mentioned to you before, in just conversation between the two of us, I fucking hate the fact that I can't fucking go nowhere. I'm stuck in my house all the time. The whole lockdown aspect, I'm not a big fan of it. I understand it's a necessity, I guess you can say, but something's got to give here eventually.
Well, right. At the same time, I agree in a sense. We should all be doing our duty as human beings to not spread the virus. If it is in fact, what they say it is. Obviously we're only limited to the information that we're given by the sources that are given to us that are credible or accredited. So what's your take, man? You think it's real? You think it's fake? What's going on? What's up? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a very real thing. It can't not be a real thing, dude. People are dying of it. However, you got people saying, there's this many deaths, but then I was just reading the other day, or actually yesterday, that, you got, a couple relatives died, and they said they were going to chalk it up as coronavirus, but yet they died of a heart attack. And then apparently the word being told is that unless somebody dies from a gunshot wound or a car accident, that it's getting chalked up to COVID-19.
Well, I've heard a lot about that also, and obviously those are not hugely accredited sources. But at the same time, we have to look at it in the sense of it's totally possible that it could be a lot less than what they're saying it is. What's Google for me the survivability rate, or the people that have recovered? Mainstream media says that it affects mostly the elderly, and people with underlying health issues. My thing is that it's hard to believe a lot of the shit they're spewing, because there was just that big thing with CBS coming out and using footage from Italy and trying to claim that it's from New York City. So stuff like that kind of puts me off, man. But at the same time, I do know people that have contracted coronavirus.
Well, right. Like I said, I totally believe it's real. I believe it's a real thing. Now, however, the way it started, the way it's going around, if the numbers are actually real, and whatever the case may be, dude, those are just, there's too many questions that come along with the reality of this virus going around, dude. To sit there and be
that kind of goes into our next thing with the media response. Now with the media response, man, it's overwhelming, bro. There's daily updates from the Albany County executives. There's daily updates from the president. There's daily updates from Dr. Fauci. It just seems like there's so much, man. It's you don't get any news other than boom, coronavirus, boom, coronavirus, boom, coronavirus. You know what I mean? Well, so going with that, do you think that it's a possibility that, you know, they could have beefed up the numbers to push these stories? Like, you know what I mean? To
for sure. I mean,
a lot of shit's clickbait these days.
You know, side topic, real quick, that, you know, the media's there to fucking induce fear anyway, man. You know, it's fucking horse shit the way they conduct themselves anyway. Yeah. So I mean, you can't sit there and be like, oh man, this is law. This is the stuff that I read is
well, right. I actually had a conversation today with somebody on Facebook that, you know, like, it was almost like, you know, their side of it was like the whole 5G thing, which we're not going to get into a lot about it, but essentially that, you know, there was more radiation in microwaves and cell phones and blah 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 blah. And my whole thought process is that, you know, they kind of not demanded, but kind of were like relying on the accredited sources, like on the mainstream for that information. And my whole point was like, we really have to be objective here. You know what I mean? We can't say, all right, so, you know, they've had this established system in place for 250 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, and any independent journalist is getting squashed. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's with anything, you know.
But that's what I mean now. Is now we have it's coming up on an election year, or we're in an election year. You know what I mean? And now we have this giant COVID crisis. Everybody's pointing fingers. You know what I mean?
Well, that was another thing too. Like, there's stories getting buried because of this shit. Like, you can't. You don't know what the hell else is going on behind the fucking curtain, you know, because all this, that's all you see. Turn on the news, COVID, coronavirus, COVID, Trump's an asshole, COVID. Like, you don't see anything else. So, like, I mean, I could go on for days of all the stuff that I've been reading that's going on that they're not putting out on the news, because I try to look for it, because okay, I get it. COVID's fucking out there, dude. Like, what else is going on? I got to look for it myself to fucking find out.
Well, right. And that's the thing, man, is I do feel like we're only getting certain information at certain times. And like right now with the coronavirus especially, it's like there is a lot of uproar about it. There are a lot of people contracting the virus. There are a lot of people that are, you know, following the politics with the ventilators and, you know, all of that stuff, especially us being here in New York. It's tough because we're dealing with a shortage in New York City, but then upstate is kind of getting dorked. But it's a weird topic because they're taking ventilators from upstate New York and bringing them downstate. And then Cuomo had threatened to use the National Guard to take them, you know what I mean? And like, I'm kind of torn on that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, obviously life-saving stuff needs to be life-saving at the moment. And if there's a surplus somewhere, then obviously you got to save lives. You know what I mean? But in any event, you know, the media has literally, dude, spun this thing so crazy. Like, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that are just so scared, bro. Like, they're terrified. You know what I mean? And it's weird for me being the conspiracy theorist that I am, because, you know, I don't ever want to take a real thing that's killing people and delegitimize it. But at the same time, man, like, I mean, there's a lot of motivators to.
Well, so side note real quick. So as of the 24th of March, because I can't find anything more recent that's pulling up, there's literally, so I mean, just this for insight too. Like, so you Google something about this, you know, the recovery rate, I Googled, and it's not giving me any of that. It's giving me death rates. It's giving me how many people are tested. Like, there's a million and one things, but nothing about recovery rate. So,
well, that's not juicy.
So like, the stuff that I did find was dated the 26th of March, and according to that number, right now there's a 25.7% recovery rate, and that's according to that date.
Wow. Well, like, I mean, the latest I had saw, and I'm thinking just a couple days ago, was that, like, there's, you know, it's almost in the high 90s. You know what I mean? Like, to survive. It's when you have the underlying health issues.
Well, right, but I mean, that number you gotta kind of go off of the fact that, yeah, people are getting it, and there hasn't been an ending to them having it. You know what I'm saying? To have a
think about the testing
good
too.
number.
Think about the testing too, man. Is that they're like not actively testing unless you're.
It's highly not accurate either.
Well, not
I'm understanding.
Well, not even just that, man. But like they only have so many tests, and what's happening is that they're running out, and like if you're not fully symptomatic of what the criteria is for COVID, then they tell you to stay at your house, bro, in quarantine. You know what I mean? And people are actually dying from that shit, you know, which is absurd to me. But
there was a YouTube video. There was a YouTube video I seen where this guy in Italy literally had his sister in a bed, dead.
Yeah,
talking about the officials and nobody wouldn't even come get her.
Yeah, they wouldn't come get her.
Wouldn't come test him to make sure he didn't have it and all that, and you know, like.
Well, it sucks, man, because like here. Again, I am no person to support the government, but at the same time, where was the preparedness from any administration? You know what I mean? Not even just this one, because I'll tell you now, I'm not a huge fan of Trump, but I'm not a politician either, so I really could care less about any of them crooks. But at the same time, with something that happened so fast and so quickly, it's hard to prepare for something like that unless you're like saying, okay, oh shit, we know this pandemic is coming. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You know, so all in all, I think, you know, with the media, it's tough, man, because you know what, you're you know, I say it to people all the time, it's inciting fear, and everybody's afraid they all put their head in the ground. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, I'm not saying go out and live your friggin' life and get COVID. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, you know what? Do what's right. But at the same time, man, like, yo, we were just out at Grafton State Lake today. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't around people. It ain't a ton of shit going on. You know what I mean? But we walked the trails, took the dog out. You know what I mean? And got some exercise in.
I read something funny yesterday. It was, you know... Yeah, the quarantine and stay away order was they issue. You know, they're going to keep issuing 30 days until the 4 months that they originally planned was up. So. Yeah,
well, like I mean, that's the funny part about it, bro. Is like the government's like, yeah, you know, it's like they just pushed the kids back going to school too. Like, what was it, April 30th or some shit or.
Well, see, and that kind of bothers me too because, like, you know, to what. So I heard a commercial earlier on the radio. From one of them fucking insurance companies, dude, like State Farm or something like that. It might have been Jake too on the commercial. I'm not sure.
He was naked now.
Right. Probably. Yeah, he's working from home. Why not?
Yeah.
No khakis here.
No pants party.
But they literally said to help ease you into the new norm.
Yeah.
Like, and that struck a chord as soon as I heard it. Like, wait, I don't want this to be the new norm, regardless of whatever. To have this being an idea of a new norm is probably more devastating to me than anything else.
Dude, how fucking crazy is it that it was so easy to put 320 million adults, well, not adults, let me be clear, but 320 million estimated people in the United States of America in their fucking house.
Right.
How easy was it? It was pretty fucking easy. And that kind of drives me nuts. I'm not, like I said, I'm all about it. Do what's humanly right. Like, don't spread it. Don't do what you can to spread it, because obviously I don't want to find out what percentage I'm in or any of my family members. But at the same time, you know what I mean?
Well, like, so you ever see that movie, The Interview, with James Franco?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so,
hell yeah.
like, I feel like we're in the fake facade of North Korea that they set up
there. It's a fucking tiger.
With the fucking corner shop with the fake fruits and shit in the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we're in that. Or even like Red Dawn. You ever see Red Dawn? Like the original?
Believe it or not, I haven't.
No, what, dude?
Yeah,
oh my god, yeah,
I'm a fucking loser.
That's a movie you have to see. But anyway, so basically the Russians and the fucking Cubans come into the United States, dude, and like. So throw this little town into martial law. So like you see like people walking around, but they have to stay away from each other and shit like that. Like it. So dude, like shit like that reminds me of what's going on right now. Like to where you can't fucking stand any closer than 6 feet to somebody. You can't like And then what happens? You sit there and like talk about it, dude. You know,
Dude,
other
you're
people
just
get stressed
mad
out,
'cause
weirded
you
out.
can't
And,
make out with dudes.
dude, well,
Like,
first off,
come
we're
on.
not. That's another topic.
You're right.
That
We'll save
irks
that.
me.
We'll
Yeah.
save that for another one. Agreed.
kissing dudes.
Agreed, man. This is not like, listen, man, I'm not a fucking homebody by any means. You know what I mean? And it's tough for me. It's tough for my kids. It's tough for everybody around them. And you know, it's. I would never want this to be the new norm either. You know, and what's crazy to me is all the people that are okay with it. Like, it's like, you're okay. It's almost like, all right, you know what?
Because Facebook is telling them they have anxiety and depression.
I think it's a lot more than that. But
I'm just saying, dude. Everybody seems to have anxiety and depression.
oh, dude, it's disgusting how many people I know that fucking like abuse shit like that. It's not the lifestyle anybody wants to live. I mean, some people do,
I was
but
about to say, actually, a vast majority apparently do.
bro,
Read
listen,
some of the
you know
memes.
what, dude? Let me tell you something. The only time I've ever, and this is a little segue, the only time I've ever felt anxiety, like legitimately, like I could say, like it was hard for me to breathe, my heart was racing, all this other shit, was when I was waiting for a verdict. You know what I mean? Like, I was sitting in that situation, like, oh my god, dude, you know, this is absurd that I have to rely on.
That's a big moment, dude, to be anticipating.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, but that's the only time ever. Now, granted, I smoke a ton of fucking weed.
Right.
Like, I mean, a lot of it.
Well,
So
it's not like you could smoke it right there while you were waiting.
well, right. Oh, dude, I was burnt out every day I went to court. Like,
Right.
I mean, every fucking day.
Imagine how easier it would have been, though, if you just lit one up.
The judge was probably like, this fucking guy. But in any event, you know what I mean? Like, so what's crazy about that is
the devil's dick.
I think that plays a lot into this media shit, though. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's force feed you all these prescription drugs. We're not force feeding you, but we're going to say, hey, you're going to fucking feel better. You know what I mean? You're going to feel great. You're not going to give a shit about anything. And then you're going to sleep for 2 days, and then you're going to wake up with a fucking Xanax hangover, and
Right.
you know what I mean?
Higher anxiety.
Hi, dude. Yeah, that's what's even crazier, bro. Is it's scientifically proven that, and I don't know what study it is, so don't quote me. But at the same time, it's a rubber band effect. So it works while you're on it, and as soon as you're off it, dude, it's a wrap. It's over. It's the worst anxiety ever.
All right, well, I mean,
So,
look at any drug, dude.
that's
how every drug works.
But think about all these people, dude, and that's what the media is pushing. They're pushing nothing but anxiety, bro. Like, yo, dude, you're all gonna die. Your family's gonna die. Everybody's gonna die.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
The
Like,
healthcare industry is a big business.
it's huge business, dude. And this is another issue that I had with people is that it's like, yo, you know how much that fucking vaccine's gonna cost,
Oh, for sure,
bro?
Your arm and leg.
then China's gonna sell it back to us. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So like. There's no money in healthy people. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I don't think that let me be clear. I don't believe this is a man-made fucking virus. I just don't believe that. I believe it is possible, and I believe that there is biochemical weapons out there, but at the same time, nature always does it best. You know what I mean? Nature always gives us that fucking curveball that we don't know how to handle.
All right, Jeff Goldblum.
God damn it, he did it. Son of a bitch, he did it. Right, but at the same time, like, think about it in that sense, man. Like, if, there's just, yeah, sure, we've had coronaviruses in the past, but nothing like this. You know what I mean? And to where most of them have now this one I think falls into the category too of what's it called there? Oh shit! No, I forgot. But in any event,
Well, so talking about other pandemics and stuff, man. I know I had read this to you before, but I'll bring it up now. So I was reading this paragraph, I guess you could say, and I was speaking on COVID and or how these pandemics pop up after a huge electrical jump in Earth's history.
right.
So I'll read the paragraph real quick. So Dr. Thomas Cohen has pointed out that every time there has been a pandemic in the last 150 years, there was a large leap in the electrification of the Earth shortly before. In fall of 1917, radio waves were introduced globally, and the Spanish flu broke out just months later in 1918. In 1968, the Hong Kong flu emerged shortly after we put satellites emitting radio frequencies into orbit around the Earth. Now, shortly after 5G towers are being placed around the world, we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
Right. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit. Well, my thing about that, bro, is again, we're only limited with the information that we're given by the people that have had it, tossed it up, fucked it, and then sent it back. You know what I mean? So it's that's a weird, ironic coincidence to me. It is a weird coincidence, dude. But like, I'm assuming that I'm no scientist. I'm no fucking Nikola Tesla, anything like that. But at the same time, I got to assume that if you do something that alters electromagnetic fields, radiation, or anything like that, and then puts it into a frequency or into the air, the whatever, the radio spectrum, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's not going to be good for other shit. Now, do I believe that's the case? I'm not necessarily sure, because I really kind of got to dig into the 5G stuff before I really make an accurate opinion. You know what I mean?
There is a video that's going around YouTube, dude. It's actually a guy that works for one of the phone companies that's been going around and installing these things.
Yeah.
And he did a video, dude, like explaining how they had to sit down for a meeting and got told, like, you know, the side effects of these towers, and they didn't provide them with anything to protect them from any of this stuff, and just sent them out. So put it in.
Let's be real here, man. Money's a big motivator, and when you're looking at it on a conglomerate scale, you're talking about dudes that don't give a shit whether you live, die, or end up with cancer. Look at all the people that worked in the fucking coal mines, bro. They're all dead now, but at the same time, like, yo, they lived terrible fucking lives, bro.
It's funny you say that.
The conditions.
The dude in the video says that. He's like, listen, it's dangerous. He's like, but I have bills to pay. I have a family I need to feed. This is my job. This is what I know how to do. I have to go and install these things, and I'm sorry. Like, he says, like, to the public, I'm sorry, but this is, like, it's coming regardless whether I help out or not.
Right. I mean, and again, you know, I'm just gonna clarify for everybody else listening. Is like, we taking a lot of information. We don't know if this dude really works for 5G.
No,
you know
for sure. Yeah,
but
I'm not
at the
saying,
same
like,
time,
listen to this guy like Jesus and shit.
Well, right. Well, no, exactly. But I just want to put it out to our listeners that, you know, we do take in a lot of this type of information just to have the other side of it. You know what I mean? It could be fucking totally bullshit. Totally bullshit. But at the same time, it's going to open my mind up to thinking along the lines of a different route, to where this fucking streamline of life and reality is not all that there is. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I can't be spoon-fed, you know, information that I'm just supposed to eat. You know what I mean? Like, but I like to take it. We like to take it. And this is why this is why it's nonsensical, because, you know, we want to look at every aspect of it. We want to take the flip side of it. We could be fucking something totally crazy and absurd, astronomical. And guess what? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to see what it is.
Well, so you're into aliens and stuff like that, correct?
No.
Oh, all right.
We gave off that idea.
Shit.
Nah,
I thought I came to a different podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course I am.
In the wrong place.
Wow, what's up?
Well, so what do you think about? So I've also been reading stuff about the Anunnaki coming, which is, you know, a type of alien race. If anybody listening is into stuff like that, there's stories that they're coming to Earth and whatnot. You know, so let me ask you this. Especially they're showing graphics all the time too on how air pollution's getting cleaned up, and I mean, you see, you know, like, so for instance, the canals there in Italy are getting cleaned with human activity not being around. So, do you think, or what's your thought on, you know, maybe they said, hey, you know what, we'll drop this in there because we're heading there, and let's clear out some of the waste.
I mean, again, you know, I keep it as a, you know, a possibility, dude, because, you know, I've always said to people, like, you know, because everybody's like, dude, if there was fucking aliens, they'd, you know, blah 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 blah. You know,
you
whatever.
Would see them,
yeah. And I'm like,
we'd
dude,
all be getting probed.
And they're told. Well, Stephen Hawking actually said it too. He said the probability of us meeting extraterrestrial life would be that they would come here and use us for our resources and leave. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't be malevolent or benevolent. Whatever.
I know a bunch of humans that I wish I didn't meet. So I mean, if I were an alien, fuck you guys.
For sure. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they say it's like, yo, man, you know, they'd fucking be so hostile to us. I was like, dude, think about it like this: if they're in a civilization like that, like they could send a virus here and just wipe out fucking humanity if they wanted to.
Wink, wink.
Right, right. You know what I mean? Like in a sense,
panic over that.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is just like, so like it would be that easy for like the Anunnaki to do something like that, or for any extraterrestrial race for that matter. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's so crazy because this is for like an entirely different episode.
Well, right. Like I'm just saying.
I'm
like,
trying not.
Think,
I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to jump down the fucking rabbit hole here because
I mean it's a pandemic, dude. There's so many different things that like you said, we're only getting the information that we're allowed to get.
What's crazy to me, dude, is like it's crazy. Obviously, you know, I wrote out a bunch of shit about past pandemics, and right. You know what I mean. We got a lot of information here just regarding, you know, Spanish flu, the Third Plague, the Black Death, you know, Ebola, a bunch of shit, dude. But what's crazy about it is the consistency of it. You know what I mean? Is that throughout human history, and I'm sure prior, you know what I mean, we have been fucking devastated by plagues. You know what I mean? By disease, by, you know, the Black Plague alone, dude, killed allegedly estimated 75 to 200 million people killed. Like the most devastating pandemic recorded in human history. You know what I mean? So it's like that's like when you're talking about wiping out, what is it here? 60%, 30 to 60% of Europe's population, bro. We can't be ready for something like that. Like we can't say.
Who's to say we're not? But we're not. We're also allowing it to happen. You know, like that's something on that scale. Like you would think. Like I mean, if you have some like extraterrestrial whatever, dude. Clearly they're a little more advanced than we are. If they're traveling through whatever to get here. Well, you know, I'm not. Again, I don't know. Yeah. I don't hang out with aliens every day. Unfortunately, that'd be pretty dope.
That'd be awesome.
But
DMT,
you know, say to, you know, be if they're trying to clear something, they say to you, hey, you know, listen, you need to allow this to happen because we need some of your population to get the hell out of here for us to conduct whatever it is they're trying to do. What's your reason to say no?
I don't think it fits the narrative, like, because
it's like being deboed by.
Like it's tough because like you know, I'll let everybody know out there, like I try not to cap at least myself, and I know Sauce doesn't either in our thought processes. So our beliefs constantly change. Like we have, you know, an idea of where we're going with our ideas, you know what I mean? But at the same time, nothing's set in stone, man. I could be presented new information tomorrow and it change everything.
Well, shout out to Chris Rock and Dogma, by the way, for saying, you know, it's good. It's better to have an idea than a belief. You can change an idea, but you can't change a belief.
This guy's quoting a fucking fake character in a movie.
Whatever.
That's
shit. I
love that movie. It's a good movie.
That was a huge line drop. So shout out to Kevin Smith for writing it.
It's fucking Rufus.
Fucking Rufus. Silent Bob. Let's go.
Oh, he's rocking the gun. Right. Shit, no, Jesus, he owed me $15. But in any event, but right. So like, just, you know, to sum that up is that, you know, so we could have new information and it just changed, but I don't think that kind of fits the narrative, man, because along with some of the stuff that I kind of have a belief in is that like we are being used more in a sense of labor than we are like need to get rid of. You know what I mean? So like think about it like in a sense of if like any of that, if there's any truth to alien abductions and slave labor, you know what I mean? Like then that wouldn't really fit the narrative. You know what I mean? Like, we would just say, fuck it, dude, take them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Fucking take them, get rid of them. You know what I mean? So work them to death and fucking beat it. You know what I mean? And it's even crazier, dude, with all the missing people that go missing every year. You know what I mean? It's every fucking year. How many people go missing every year?
Oh my God.
Let's get a Google on that. But either way, I don't really think it fits that narrative, but at the same time, COVID is
you want the world, or you just want the U.S. number?
Just give me the U.S. number for now, because there's a lot in the U.S. that go missing every year. Every single year.
Ever been to Slovakia?
Every single year. Yeah, but that's more like.
I'm just saying, you couldn't tell me because you go missing.
Yeah, word.
Any listeners in Slovakia, don't lecture me for that one.
Yeah, right.
I didn't mean nothing by it.
But yeah, so like, I mean, you know, in any event, dude, what's crazy is that like this, you know, it still brings me back to like the scare shit. You know what I mean? Like, who was it? I think it was Joey was just telling me not too long ago that they what was it? We're basically saying the same thing you were saying, is that, you know, it was, you know, they're beefing up the numbers, and then it's like, okay, well, why though? You know what I mean? Like, why are you listing certain deaths as COVID when they're not?
Because you don't want rookie numbers, bro. You can't sit there and be like, oh, the 1920s had a worse pandemic.
Oh, that was the thing
numbers.
that was the shit she was telling me, was that it was worse than 9/11. She had read an article, dude, that somebody had fucking said that this was not worse than 9/11. Like, on a scale, like, of devastation. This is worse. Well, I'm like, you're out of your fucking tree.
Well, first off, it's a virus. Second off, they flew planes into a building.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Damaged.
We'll talk about that another time, too.
Multiple things. That's
lies.
Well, I watched it. I watched planes fly into those buildings.
Oh, don't get it fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. I'll never forget where I was that day.
There's certainly a huge amount of that aspect that I don't believe myself, but
yeah, no,
I literally watched
sure.
those planes hit those buildings.
Yeah. A lot of us did, dude. Like I said, I'll never forget where I was that day.
Never.
You know what I mean? But I just don't think that that's even a comparison. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
totally
you can't,
different scenario. This is a virus.
You can't say. Right, you can't say that the lives lost from the virus, or like, you can blame it on COVID. You know what I mean? Like, but you really should. Like, I mean, you could blame it on COVID, but let's be fucking frank here. Like, you should blame it on the underlying health issues. You know what I mean? Right. Like, so, you know, it's one of those things.
It shouldn't be in the same conversation.
Right, not even close. You know.
So I got these numbers up. This is February 2020. February 27th, 2020, just to be more accurate there. So I got gender numbers, the two genders that I know of.
Careful, guy. Careful. You're skirting a fine line there.
Yeah. So there's
fucking Christ.
I won't get on with it. Anyway, so there's under 21, dude. The amount of missing people for male is 212,723. Female, 235,367. And that's just under 21.
That's crazy, bro.
Dude, that's
all right, so think about it like that,
ridiculous.
Though.
That's just under 21. Dude.
Well, this is what I mean, and a lot of these people are never fucking found. So like, it begs the question of like, and like we've kind of segued a little bit from the COVID shit, but at the same time, it, like with the abduction theory, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, man, look at that age. That's prime real estate.
Under the extermination route we were kind of touching with.
Well, yeah, for sure. But like, think about it like that in a sense. Like, that's prime real estate, bro. Like, fucking everybody's in the peak of their lives. You know what I mean? Not in the peak, but like in the coming up of their lives at 21, under 21. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're never found again. Sure, people fall into drugs, people get kidnapped, people get killed, murdered,
sex trade and shit like that.
Right, sex trafficking, which is obviously fucking horrible things. But at the same time, it's like,
it's a fucking lucrative thing. Like, how is that? Like,
well, it's because
so
all them
terrible.
fucking Jeffrey Epstein scumbags, that fucking power elite that like to fucking do stupid shit like that. So, because, listen, guess what? You don't have a customer, you ain't got a business. You know what I mean? So, you got some scumbag out there that's like, oh, yeah, fuck it, I want to, you know what I mean, do this. Pizzagate. Pizzagate's another thing we'll get into eventually. Is like, they allegedly had, you know, taken kids, bro. And fucking were like taking kids from other places like Chicago and shit like that. And then they were taking them, and these kids would range from anywhere from like 6 to 8, you know, 16. You know what I mean? So like, and then they would give them to these power elite. Like they would say, okay, you know, whatever. If anybody wants to do a little bit more research into Pizzagate, it's another far-fetched theory, but there's a lot of fishy fucking shit about it. And I think if you look into it, you'll probably have a different opinion on a lot of your favorite politicians.
So outside of, you know, the theories that have already been thrown out, what's another one that seems like, you know, gets the noodle fucking cooking, bro?
As for COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, you know, it's obviously a sexy idea that it was made in a lab. You know what I mean? And that some fucking jerk off fucking spilled a petri dish somewhere and it got out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the sexiest one. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, this fucking dude is responsible, or whoever is responsible for a worldwide pandemic. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't really put too much conspiracy to this other than it's man-made. You know what I mean? Like, we could kind of go the alien route, but like I said, I don't think that really fits the narrative. But if it was made in the lab, dude, which is crazy. Here's what's crazy, man, is like, there was this professor, look up Lieber, I think his name is Dr. Lieber, maybe.
Dr. Lieber.
He was just recently arrested, man, by
I think he was in an episode of Law and Order SVU.
Maybe.
No, just
But he essentially, what happened was he was receiving $50,000 a month from the Chinese government, right? And he was supposed to be building a lab over there, right? Coincidentally, in Wuhan.
Is this
There's been a lot of clickbait about it because they're trying to tie him to the coronavirus, but there's nothing that like ties him to coronavirus. It's just like everybody's like, "Oh my God, this fucking guy created coronavirus."
You happen to know the area because I've got a couple of MDs pulling up here.
No, it'd be in the news. Like, it'd be like, so go to, maybe it's Harvard professor arrested. Try that.
All right, that's what I was thinking. So I was reading though about a couple of people from Harvard. I want to say it was Harvard. Don't quote me on that. But I was reading something that was saying that a couple of people got arrested for selling information and stuff that coincided with COVID and all that.
Well, that's... Yeah,
I can't remember the details off the top of my head.
That's along the same lines, man. This guy essentially was receiving $50,000 a month from China.
All right, U.S.
Should be either. Maybe
I got it right here. This is back in January. U.S. accuses Harvard scientists of concealing Chinese funding.
Yeah. So, like, now there's a lot of clickbait dudes saying that this guy was
This is the New York Times, so, I mean...
Well, no, it's being widely reported, but it has nothing to do with COVID, right?
Well, the shit I read had to do with COVID.
Well, yes, but that's...
I'm checking it out right now.
That's what I'm talking about, is all that fucking clickbait. I think I said something to you about it yesterday, was that there's this clickbait going around saying, "Oh my God, they found a connection between Corona and..."
Yeah, but I don't think I was reading it as such. I don't think like the headline had to do with COVID. Like in the article that I was reading brought COVID up,
right?
But I don't think it was. It wasn't like solely struck on that. Because if it was, dude, I honestly wouldn't have clicked it. Because I'm honestly, I want to be like updated and up to date on what's going on with COVID and shit, dude. But I'm getting fucking tired of seeing it.
I'm over it. Like I'm kind of over it, man. You know, we kind of figured. Right. Well, that's the whole thing with this podcast. The first podcast was to do COVID, just because it's
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, man. You know, get the shit fuck over with. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a terrible thing, and you know, but we're not going to spend any more episodes talking about fucking COVID. It might get brought up. Yeah, it might get brought up here and there if there's some pertinent information. But outside of that, dude, we're going to jump right down the fucking rabbit hole in the next couple episodes. And
just for reassurance, listen to this podcast 6 feet away from your speaker. As far as I know, neither of us have it, but we don't want you
get COVID from a speaker.
Whatever. We got to keep them safe, dude.
Anyways, but you know, we're also going to try to get some guests. You know, some of the homies on. Some, you know, some
big shout out to Irv, by the way. Can get you on here.
What was that? I just had something happen. Just heard a beep or something.
Not sure.
Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's
still recording.
Yep, everything's running.
All right. Well, yeah. No. Shout out to Irv, my boy Irv Ackerman, our boy Irv Ackerman. He was actually supposed to be our first guest on our first episode, and you know, his father passed away. So you know,
R.I.P. Sorry for your loss.
Right. Sorry for your loss, brother. We love you, and we'll get you on immediately. So. You know, and we're gonna talk about some cool things, man. We're gonna talk about some important things, and we're gonna talk about some fucking weird shit. You know what I mean? We're really into the weirdness, but you know, we'll try to keep some sort of professionalism.
Back to the COVID real quick.
All right, what's up?
So I like all sports. However, I'm just a fanatic for football. Football is just
men in tights.
Sure. But anyway.
The fucking stupid Bills.
Listen, don't be a hater, dude. Anyway. Shout out Buffalo Bills. Anyway. Why or what what do you see happening to football? I mean any sport, really. I mean, all of them got shut down. So what do you?
Well, I think a lot of them learned a lesson from that stupid NBA player Rudy Gobert. I think they all learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. Okay.
Hashtag licking tables.
Yeah, it's stupidity, man. You know, and I didn't like how that situation was handled, but at the same time, like, I think with sports in general. Dude, they can't. I think a lot of them are going to wait until they can fill seats again. You know what I mean? I think a lot of their revenue comes from, you know, games, stadium. You know,
but that's what hurts my heart is that they stopped it. I mean, I understand attendance and fans are a huge part of the revenue, dude. I get that. However, like, I mean, look at like the WWE, for instance, dude. They just did WrestleMania with no fans.
Yeah,
they did a 2-day WrestleMania with no fans.
WrestleMania is meh. But I get it. I understand. Like, it's but at the same time, that's the only way you can make sure that this isn't spreading. You know what I mean? So, and if it's so
the point I was trying to get to with that was that, you know, like, they did that without fans. Like, you can have these NBA players playing their games without fans. I mean, they have less people that are in the WWE.
Well, no, I think. Well, here's the issue: is not a lot of WWE is a team sport. Like, you have your tag team and all that stupid horse shit, but at the same time, like, you are looking at a team, a locker room, and then a staff. Trainers, health professionals, you know what I mean? Like, coaches, execs, you know what I mean? You have a crazy amount of people that go into running one basketball team. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, not only that, but now you have to make sure that every single one of those people, whoever's on staff, is not exposed to coronavirus. And now I talk about how many teams are in the NBA?
Ooh.
So think about that. You know what I mean?
Can I call a lifeline?
Yeah, right. But that's what I mean. So, like, you'd have to, like, the precautionary.
So there's 15 players on the NBA lineup.
Well, yes, but now, what's the average amount of staff per game?
Courtside staff?
Just staff in general. Like, not obviously, you would have to be team staff, like, not like stadium staff. Because, again, the only way to do that is to isolate. Like, you can't you can't have any of these people going home, getting COVID, coming back, and exposing an entire team.
Well, that's
franchise.
like so being on Twitter, dude. Like I see all these athletes because I follow MMA, football, basketball.
Well, you see what they're about to do to Khabib. He can't get out of Russia. They're about to put Conor in Ferguson.
No, it's Poirier and Ferguson.
Oh,
it just got
okay.
confirmed today, actually, April 18th or 19th,
okay.
whatever that Saturday is. It's Gaethje and Ferguson.
Oh, okay. Found a filler.
Right, which sucks for Ferguson because it's like dude's already held the fucking interim fucking title. Like that dude needs a title shot. They need to stop dicking him. That's like Ngannou, dude. Ngannou was supposed to fight just before they called the mass quarantine.
I mean, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? I think,
dude, those guys are all saying, "Yo, give us one ref. That's all we need. Put us in there. Have the judges watching the live stream."
Yeah, well, that's all they do anyway.
Put
Like
me
the
in the
judges,
octagon.
the judges have TVs in front of them.
Well, the initial thing with UFC, dude, was that they were going to go to that because Dana White's got that super spot in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were going to go there because they do that Dana White's Contender Series. And, dude, it's literally empty in there. They maybe have their family watching them fight and then the judges and Dana White. There's barely anybody in that bitch.
Right. Like, I mean, again, that is a little different because, again, you can take two fighters, a trainer, and go do it. You know what I mean? And televise it and all that shit. But again, here's the issue. Is that
bum fight UFC.
Here's what fucking sucks, dude. Is just all of the moving parts that go into making something happen like that. So televised. All right. So now you got to have all these TV crews in there. Now you got to have.
You set up webcams.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah, all the chicks do it these days. So
right. Well, I'm on like 20 different Snapchat premiums, bro.
You're such a piece of shit.
I know.
No. But anyways,
they all love me. They tell me every day.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Right. That's why I pay for it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's not for the nudes. It's for the encouragement.
It's for
the encouragement.
I feel better.
The confidence boost.
Right. I feel better about myself.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, in terms of sports in general, man, like I think a lot of them are going to be pushed back. Obviously, we were just talking a little while ago about Roger Goodell talking about the 14-game season, depending on when and if they do it. The virtual draft, they just confirmed that they were doing the virtual draft, and all facilities are closed indefinitely. So, like, I mean, right now it's indefinitely, bro. Like, it's indefinitely. Like, we have no idea. Like, I couldn't even tell you, like, what an idea is of where any of it's going to go. I think a lot of these jerk-offs are going to get paid to sit out for a while. You know what I mean?
Bro, I will literally be upset because my Bills are actually being good. And now I don't get to watch them be good.
Well,
goddamn virus.
The universe works in really mysterious ways.
Yeah,
for real though.
Fuck this universe.
Yeah, it's not the only one. So but we'll get into that some other time too.
Fuck all of them if they're holding off football season.
No, dude, listen, check this out. In some dimension, you're probably the quarterback of the Bills, and you guys just won the Super Bowl. But it's not.
Right.
It's not this one.
Oh, I'd love to live in that one.
It's not this one.
We won't get into that. That'll be another one.
Yeah, But yeah, like I mean, I think the best bet right now for anyone to do is to be smart and do what you can. Don't infect your family, and isolate. Like I can't tell you how much it's meant to me to stupid dog.
No KY wrestling. 6 feet apart.
Right. How much it's meant to me to get the extra time in with the kids. You know what I mean? And the wife and the kids.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, and I mean, I personally like watching my kid do her schoolwork. That's, because, I mean...
Good for you, because I hate that shit.
See, I don't mind it, man, because she does really good when she's isolated and not around other kids being distracted. It's not like it's a bad thing, but I mean, you're around your peers, dude. You want to do whatever. You know how school was.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So, like, when...
You want to have fun, dude.
When you're sitting there doing it, and I mean, dude, it's not like a whole school day. 2 hours, maybe. Bang, you're done. All right.
Yo, dude, Mariah.
Gym time, lunchtime, whatever.
Bro, Mariah takes all day.
Oh, really?
All fucking day, bro.
Right.
All day. So, like...
Harm wants to get that shit done.
Yeah, no, see, Mariah, dude, that's the difference with Mariah is in school, she has no issue doing anything. Like, she do whatever her teacher tells her to do. She loves it, right? She'll go in school and they've like perfect attendance awards. You know what I mean? She's she crushes,
accolades,
bro. She crushes it, right? Homeschooling, fuck you.
Right.
Like,
fuck this principal.
She said, fuck the principal, fuck the lunch lady. Like, I don't want to do this shit.
Where's my fruit cup, bitch?
I don't want to do this shit. Dude, it took her 2 hours earlier, right? We were trying to go to Grafton, man. And she's like, she had like 2 questions left, right? And it took her literally a half hour. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Dad, I need help. I'm like,
you already gave her the end game, bro.
I'm like, you just did. Yeah, that's the problem. Because I told her what was up.
Right. So we had to wait a whole year for Avengers Endgame, dude.
Yeah, crazy, dude. So, she's like, I need help. And I'm like, dude, listen, we're at the point where you're doing it yourself.
Right.
Like, because you already done stressed everybody else the hell out. You know what I mean? So
you exhausted your resources.
Yeah, for today at least,
Right.
But it's like pulling teeth, man, to where like I think that's the only good thing I'm missing about school. You know what I mean? Is that she really enjoyed it. And Cam, he's like he does all his shit online, man. Just he makes sure his shit's done so he can play the video game.
Right.
Like,
he rushes to get it done. I mean, Harm's the same way. She don't rush to get it done, but she definitely makes sure it's done. So then she's done with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I want to be done. I don't want to be dealing with this shit. And it's full out a couple days this week.
And that's probably a 1+ I could say out of this whole lockdown shit is that the kid's not necessarily stuck in a long ass day, because I mean I get it, but I don't, dude. Like, the long structure of a day for school.
Well, dude, listen,
that's not needed. They're not learning life lessons in that bitch.
Well,
dude,
no, I've always felt like no, dude. Let me tell you something. This is again for another episode, but school is just another brainwashing institution, dude. That, you know what I mean, is not based on a lot of facts other than math and science. You know what I mean? Like, those are proven subjects.
We definitely have to talk about this some other time, dude.
No, we will.
I got asked basically, like, in a way of me being a bad person for not putting my kid in like Troy Prep type school. And I'm like, dude, fuck you.
No.
Like,
well, I've always had
do that.
I've always had the same.
I understand what benefits you get out of it. But
I've always not. No. Well, here's my thing, man. Is the private school kids always go fucking buck wild. Like, let me tell you something. They go buck wild, dude. The LaSalle kids, the fucking Albany Academy, like, they go buck wild.
Like, I don't want my kid turned into a machine, man.
Well, this is unfortunately, bro, that's any public schooling system. So, like, private too. Like, they're going on the same.
Private's harder.
Well, the biggest thing is that with school is that it's all an agreed upon establishment. You know what I mean? So even with private school, it may be a little harder, dude, but at the same time, it's all the same, you know what I mean, structured education. So, like, and this was a big point that I had with that argument about the 5G and not thinking about the other side of it. Bro, they're still teaching kids that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Like, they're still teaching that actively. You know what I mean?
True.
And what?
No.
Yeah, right. But that's like, dude, I had to have the conversation with Mariah, and I'm like, look, baby, this is what school's going to teach you. But at the same time, like, it sucks because that's not an accredited institution. You know what I mean?
It could be.
But at the same fucking time, it's like, this is not.
School of DAD.
This is popular history. History was written by the winner. You know what I mean? Like, history was written by the person that was in excess the winner. Like, so it's like, you never got the story of the other side,
Right, for sure.
And then to sit here still in 2020, dude, and say that Christopher Columbus discovered North America, you're out of your fucking tree. You know what I mean?
Also, in the same sense, people don't want to be told they're wrong either, dude.
You know what I mean? And like, that's, so it's like one of those things where you have to really kind of guide your kids in other thought processes.
Well, right. That's you gotta teach them to question anything. I mean, I like, sometimes, dude, I hear from a teacher like, I was trying to teach this, and like, your daughter's just not listening or paying attention, and it's like, well, she should be allowed to question you, right? Like, it's not like she's being a smart ass about it. She's literally asking you, well, give me some background on that. You don't know her dad, dude. So
this is a fun. This
she's
is
just
a
asking questions.
Funny topic too, man. Because I almost got my head ripped off one day for teaching the kids that what free speech was.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
that's a huge lack. I mean, not necessarily a lack, dude, because there's people that tell their kids, you can say whatever the fuck you want. And then you have some little asshole talking to you however they want. It's like, it's not an intelligent speech. It's this kid being a little dick.
Yeah,
so there's a difference there.
Well, that's what I've tried to teach my kids is that, listen, I'm not going to suppress what you have to say. You know what I mean? And it's so funny, man, because nobody cares until they're talking to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, motherfucker, you better not.
Who are you talking
No,
to?
I said you can say what you want. It's not to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's funny, man, because, luckily with my children, they tend to err on the side of caution. You know what I mean?
Harp talks to me the way that she does, man. I get dirty looks for it. It's like, well, she's talking to me, man. Whatever. I can't sit there and tell her that you can't say something when I sit here and go, fuck every 2 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it, dude. Is you want them to be able to express what they want to express. But so that's the reality of it, and it is what it is. Like, some parents are going to raise their kids differently. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And honestly, it's better that way, because I don't want everybody to be the same regardless anyway.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I certainly don't like myself to where I wouldn't want you being like me, because then I probably wouldn't like it.
Right, exactly. Well, right, you'd be an asshole and a dickhead.
I'm done talking to you. That's exactly what I would have said.
Yeah,
we're done.
Stubborn
we're
asshole. Outside of that, man, how's everything else going? Everything's good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm essential, so that's cute. Yeah, it makes me feel special.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for...
Sacrificial, you mean?
Right, well, whatever. I don't care. I'll be the guinea pig. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all them people, too, man, that are keeping life going.
For sure. Shout out to healthcare workers, people that are sitting there getting their companies converted to making masks that they don't know how to do. A whole bunch of things. I mean, thanks for making the world go round.
Well, yeah, especially for all of us people that aren't considered essential, and we're losers, and we have to kind of stay home and do nothing most of the time. It is really a big deal. I know a lot of friends that are still working.
I know a lot of friends that are hurting because they got shut down.
Shout out to my man Oscar Allen. He actually works. I don't want to misquote it. I actually should have probably hit you up first, but at the same time, I want to shout you out for he works at the CDC, dude. He is huge. He's on the front lines of the COVID thing. Shout out to him. He's probably one of the very few trusted sources of information that I could say, I know him personally, so shout out to that dude. But outside of that, man, we'll probably get wrapping up soon. And,
well, again, shout out to everybody that's been sharing and, interacting with all the social media.
Right, like our page, man. Share it. We're almost at 200 likes.
Keep us going. If you like the episode or have any comments, questions, insights, whatever, let's interact. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it. Don't just sit on the sidelines. We got you guys, liking and sharing to be a part of this too.
And just real quick, our Facebook is Nonsensical Knowledge. Our Twitter is at NKPodcast2020. Our email is nkpodcast2020@outlook.com. And you can find us on YouTube at Nonsensical Knowledge. We will be available on multiple platforms. Castbox, Anchor, YouTube.
Shout out to them too for making it possible for us to upload whatever the hell we want.
So that's it for us now, and we'll see you on the next episode of Nonsensical Knowledge.
Peace.